Good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to Cloud DevOps Batch 55. So this is the session 1 of our Cloud DevOps training. As a part of the session 1, before I start the session 1, I would like to give a quick recap on what's been covered in the previous session. Previous session, since it is a demo session, we discussed about the business. Why cloud? Why DevOps? What are the various business models that are offered in cloud? And how companies used to pay the cloud provider, and who is the leading cloud provider in the business of cloud? What is infrastructure as a service? What is platform as a service? What is infrastructure as a service? And what is software as a service? These are the three things that we learned. And we also saw what is a data center. Data center and on-prem, both of them are same. In order to maintain a data center, what are the requirements you should have? And what are the things that makes data center one of the most costly affair? And why it is going to be a very capital intensive task is something we have discussed in detail. Along with that, we saw that right now the business model is web-based applications. Applications are of two types: client-based application, which you'll be installing and running on the top of your computer, just like your VLC player and Outlook application on your computer. Now, that's not the trend in the business. The business is web-based application. Accessing the applications over the browser of your computer over internet is called as a web-based application. Since the business is web-based application, we also want to learn more about web-based application. And we also saw how and why the concept of Amazon introduced the concept of business, cloud business, and why a lot of companies are moving towards cloud is also something we extensively discussed yesterday. And I would like to ask one more question. I also want to add one more point here. Among all the three services, a couple of questions got yesterday. So which one we are going to learn in this session? We are going to learn all three of them as a part of it, apart from on-prem, because the training focuses more on DevOps with AWS. AWS is a major cloud provider, so the training focus more on the cloud. Okay, we also given examples when to use what. And I also demonstrated why tremendous amount of jobs are there in this space, the cloud and DevOps. And also I have shown you a proof that just learning cloud might not land you into the proper job, or just learning DevOps might not land you into the proper job, because cloud and DevOps are complementing factors, because we never do anything manually. We want to use the DevOps principles and strategies to automate the cloud tasks. So that's the reason you take any job in India, US, EU market, you see we are looking for a cloud engineer with some DevOps skill set, or DevOps engineer with a cloud skill set. And I also shown you a proof why a huge amount of jobs are coming up in the space of cloud and DevOps, because of the evolution that's going on and because of the cost optimization. And also, I demonstrated the very high level overview of what is agile methodology, why agile methodology is very famous, and with agile methodology, what are the benefits that we are going to learn, and what is DevOps and why we need DevOps is also something we have covered. Also, we are going to learn everything on the top of a microservices based project, or it's a very big project. So from session 5 or 6 itself, we'll start working on project, and that's what we have covered. So before I proceed further, I have a small request to anyone. I want every one of you, if you have any one of you have any sort of questions, you have a hand raise option. Please ensure you click the hand raise option, and I will give you an option to talk. Okay. So if you want to speak, click on the hand raise and just wait for 2 to 3 minutes. You'll get an option. If I'm in the middle of the topic, please ensure that I'm going to give you an option in 1 to 2 minutes. Okay. So yeah, that's it. I would like to start the content. Okay. So before I proceed further, anyone have any questions? Any questions, anyone? I just want to clarify, yesterday a lot of people have asked me, is this training continuously taken by you, or multiple topics will be taken by multiple trainers? No, starting from beginning till the end of the training, I am the person who is going to take the training, and there is no person involved in between. And the session timings will remain the same, Monday to Saturday, morning 7:30 to 9 o'clock India time. And if you are joining from States, Sunday to Friday, 10 to 11:30 Eastern. If you are in Central or Pacific, just try to do -1 or -2. Okay, and the batch timings remains the same, and there won't be any changes further. All right. So yeah, that's the thing. Let's try to proceed further. Okay, so that's the thing that I would like to start with. Okay. All right. So before I proceed further, anyone have any questions?
Hello, Manoj.
Yes, Pawan.
Yeah, Kubernetes is some content is near to coding.
Sorry?
Kubernetes.
No, not really. Kubernetes is a orchestrator or a cluster to manage containers. It's not needed any development language like Java coding or programming. No, not needed.
Okay, thank you much.
All right. Yesterday, we have opened, say, roadmap.sh, right? Roadmap.sh, and we have seen these many tools, right? If you want to learn these many tools, okay, what is the first thing you should know in order to start with? If you want to become a cloud engineer or a DevOps engineer or a cloud DevOps engineer, what is the first thing that you need to start with? What is the prerequisite? What is the prerequisite? The very first thing that should know or we should start with is Linux. If you don't know Linux, and if you're directly trying to learn cloud or DevOps, it's going to be a very big mess, and a lot of people will think that it is a very tough thing because majority of the people directly learn what is cloud, how to create a server without understanding the business of Linux or without understanding the concept of Linux. And that's the reason we want to start our training with Linux. If you don't know Linux, that's 100% fine. We are going to start from the basics and we are going to start from 100% beginning. So first thing, what is a Linux? What is Linux? Anyone? Okay, even before we go to the Linux, we need to understand a couple of things. What is that? How many types of operating systems are there? How many types of operating systems are there? Let's talk about it. Operating system types. Okay, there are a lot of operating systems, but if you talk about operating system types, there are two varieties of operating systems in general. One is graphical user interface. It's also popularly referred as GUI. Okay, Windows is a classic example of graphical user interface or GUI. Next is command line interface. What is this command line interface? Let's talk about it. So how you interact with the system, either by using the options that are present on your computer or by using commands to interact with the computer. That's the user interface that we're talking about. For example, I want to create a file. What I do, I'll press Windows button, I'll type Notepad, I'll click the application. I want to create it. I'll say, this is my batch 55 of cloud DevOps training. And if I want to save, I'll come here and I'll click save. That's it. It's going to be saved. If I don't want to save, I'll click on this. It says, do you want to save or don't want to save? I'll say, I don't want to save. That's it. Game over. So here, how you are interacting with the computer using the operating system, which is nothing but in my computer, I have installed Windows. Since I have installed Windows, which is a graphical user interface, I am interacting with the system using the options, graphical user interface, so using the options that are available on my computer. This is not my area of interest. Okay, this is not my area of interest. My area of interest is Linux. Whatever I want to do, I'll do it with commands. I want to create a file, I'll use a command. I want to delete a file, I'll use a command. I want to restart my computer, I'll use a command. I want to shut down my machine, I'll use a command. I want to see what is the CPU utilization or what is the memory utilization, what is the disk utilization that is happening on my computer. I'll use a command to do that. If it is Windows, everything is through option. For example, if I want to see the resource utilization, I'll open Task Manager. I'll click on this. I can see this is the CPU utilization, this is the memory utilization, this is the disk utilization. Like this, you get all the options in the tips of your finger using graphical user interface, using the options that are available on your computer. But command line interface is not like that. Whatever you want to do, you need to use a command. Manu, I don't know commands. How am I going to learn this? That's 100% fine, and we are going to learn. And why you need to learn Linux? Because what if I say 99? So I'll ask you one single question. Okay, one single question. I'll send a poll. Okay, what is the, as per your thing, what is the famous operating system? Okay, I just sent a poll. What is the famous OS that you, as per your knowledge? I just sent a poll. I expect every one of you to answer this. As per your understanding, what is the famous operating system that you're aware of? So every one of you would have got a poll. Please try to answer. You can be very honest. There is no good answer or bad answer. It's just a right answer or wrong answer. That's it. So which is a popular, powerful operating system that you're aware of? So come on, guys, come on. Come on, try to send. Come on, guys. I will give 10 more seconds. Which is the popular operating system that you're aware of? Wow. Wow. This is the, let me send you. So I got 50%. 50% of the people mentioned that Windows is very popular and highly utilized, and 50% of them mentioned Linux is one of the most popularly used. And I think even in the last batch, I got 50% answer. That means majority of the people who are joining the training are coming with some good basics and good understanding. There's a good sign. Yes, Linux is one of the most popular, powerful, and one of the highly utilized operating system in the entire world. What if I say 99.9% of the enterprise infrastructure Linux? Do you believe that? This is 100% true. 100% to 99% of the world's enterprise infrastructure is on Linux. And that's the reason we need to start with Linux learning. Okay, I can show you the proof. Okay, I'll come here and I'll just go to internet and I'll say operating system utilization wiki. Just say, go to the images. If you click this, it is an image that is published from the Wikipedia. Click on this. Go to the bottom of the page. If you see this, in 1997 and 1998, okay, so Unix, what is Unix? We'll talk about it. And then Windows, those two are the very popular operating system. But when you're coming down the line till 2023, 99.9% of the world's enterprise infrastructure is on Linux. You take Google, you take Facebook, you take any big company, you take any company. Again, I said 99% of the companies, in the 99% of the companies, 99.9% of the enterprise infrastructure is on Linux. And that's the reason whatever the tools that the open source community develops, it will be on the top of a Linux. Okay, now I started using a new word. What is this? Okay, so I'll also tell you why Linux is so popular. Okay, I'll also tell you why Linux is so popular. And I'll tell you one simple statement. I have known a lot of people who don't know clouds like Amazon Cloud or Azure Cloud or Google Cloud, who are coming from the Linux background, has given interviews in companies like Amazon, Google. They were hired as cloud support engineer. That's the power of Linux. If you know Linux, there are a lot of solutions where the product teams or the companies will train you on their own product and will give you offer. A lot of cloud support roles, they don't expect you to know cloud. They expect you to know Linux. If you know Linux, they'll train you on the product. I know a lot of people who entered into the cloud business as a cloud support engineer by proper training from the companies where they have joined. That's the power of Linux. And I mean to say that if you don't know Linux, it's practically impossible to start. Okay, so I'll ask you another question to differentiate why Linux is popular and why Windows in the game of operating system, why Linux is a big winner. I'll tell you one reason. I'll ask you one question. Who is the richest person in the world? Anyone? Who is the richest guy in the world?
Jeff Bezos.
Okay. Okay, when you are a kid, this is something that recent. Who was the richest person in the world for a long time? Okay, who was the richest person in the world for a long time? Who are aunts? Who?
Bill Gates.
Anyone? Yes, one is Bill Gates. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone? 5 people mentioned Bill Gates. Anyone else? Anyone? Who was the richest person in the world for a very long time? Anyone?
Elon Musk.
Bill Gates.
Exactly. Bill Gates is a person who was one of the richest guy in the world for a very long time. Do you know why? I'm going to tell you one thing. Because of the licensing model that they use. Windows licensing model is one of the major factor of the company's revenue. And that's one of the thing that made Bill Gates a rich guy in the entire world for a very, very long time. Okay, that's because of the licensing model. I'm going to talk about the licensing model very detailed. So because whenever you're applying for some mid-level roles or senior level roles, so you will be in such a positions where you want to make certain sort of decisions that saves a lot of money to the company. In order to do the cost saving model in any company, you should understand how business works, how licensing model works. So I'll tell you one thing. It all started in 1975. Okay, in 1975, there used to be a very popular operating system called as MS-DOS. Okay, one of the most popular operating system is MS-DOS. MS-DOS is also a command line operating system. Okay, so if you want to use MS-DOS, okay, all you need to do is you need to have a server. You need to have your computer, some computer. On the top of it, you are going to install MS-DOS. Okay, and keeping this MS-DOS, okay, so this is something which was introduced by, okay, Microsoft as a command line operating system. Okay, so they introduced this and it was started in 1980s. Okay, so even the Microsoft DOS was introduced, it has gained popularity, but with respect to the stability and to run very big applications, this was not much suited. And then in 1980s, a very brand new solution was introduced that is called as Unix. Unix is also one of the most popular command line operating system. And this is something which was introduced in 1980s. Okay, so what is this Unix? Unix is also a command line operating system. So which was introduced keeping the stability and reliability of the computer. Unix, if you want to use Unix, you need to buy both hardware and operating system from the same provider. Okay, this is just like iPhone. So for example, if you want to use Android phone, Android is just an operating system. You can use a Samsung phone. You can buy a Vivo phone. You can buy a Poco phone, or you can also buy any other phone, right? Any other brand, even Google phone also you can use, right? Here, operating system is independent and hardware is independent. You don't have any coupling between them, right? You don't have any tight integration between them, and there is no dependency between them. It's your choice. You're getting an Android operating system on your phone, and brand of the phone is your choice. You can buy a Samsung phone, you can buy a Vivo phone, or you can also buy a Google phone, Pixel phone, right? But Unix is not like that. It's just like a Mac. Mac, the operating system that you use on your computer, MacBook, is Mac OS or iOS is a flavor of Unix. Okay, so if you want to use Unix, you need to buy the hardware from the same Unix provider, making it a very costly solution. So since it became a very costly solution, only universities and big banks, colleges in states were able to afford. Not everyone used to afford, and it's no doubt it's one of the best reliable operating system in the entire world, but at the same time, it is also a very costly solution. Okay, if you want to buy 100 Unix machines, gone. You have invested 100% of your money in buying servers itself. But the reliability that is offered in Unix is so robust. I even see Unix machines which are running continuously for 15 years, 20 years without even restarting it. You buy a Unix server, start it, run your application, it runs forever. That is the reliability that Unix operating system gives. But at the same time, it is a very costly solution, very costly solution. And keeping that in mind, uh, there is a nice engineer. His name is Linus Torvalds. This guy felt, why I need to pay for an operating system? I like it, but why I need to pay for it? He thought these concepts in mind, and he want to build something. He want to build an operating system that should look like Unix, but it should not be Unix. With that context in mind, he developed an operating system called as Linux. So keeping the principles of GNUX. GNUX stands for generally not Unix. It is a community which wants to develop a operating system which is similar to Unix, but it should not be Unix. Okay, so general not Unix. Okay, so they want to develop an operating system which should look like Unix, but should have the ability to run in any hardware of their choice. So that's where a new operating system, which is open source, came up into picture called as Linux. Okay, so Linux, and the main idea behind Linux is it should be open source. Okay, I started using a new word. I'll ask you another question. Linux is open source. What is open source? Anyone would like to answer? What is open source?
Code will be available for everyone.
Mhm.
Like they can update the code anytime, and it was non-chargeable.
Okay, let's try to take. Okay, let's try to take the poll. What is an open source software? What is an open source software?
Free of cost.
Okay, first thing, one is code is open. What do you mean by code is open? Let's try to understand. Let's try to adapt. Code is open. Code is open, which means it's not proprietary. Can I say this? Code is not proprietary. Okay, free of use. May or may not be. This may or may not be true all the time. Anyone else? Anyone else? Code is open, free of use. This is true or may not be true. So I'll try to put it in orange color. And this is 100% true. I'll try to put it in green color. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, I'm giving access. Who has raised hand? Anyone? You can unmute and talk. I have given access.
Anybody can contribute.
Contribution. This is a new word. Okay.
And anyone can update.
Yeah, which means code is open.
Modifications are allowed.
Yes, that again falls under the category of code is open. Let me tell you this. When you refer something as an open source software, the code of the project should always be open. Anyone who wants to take the code, they can take the code and they can rebrand it and they can publish it to anyone. They can also make money out of it. But even then, the code should always be open. I have taken a code. Praneeth has made a software called as Praneeth software. It is open source. He's making money out of it. I'm going to take the software. I'm going to name the software as Manu Verma DevOps B53, and I'll market that. But still, I'm going to keep it as open. But Windows is not like that. Windows or any proprietary softwares like Windows, anything, code is not open, which means only the Microsoft, the company Microsoft, or the proprietor of the company, or the owner of the company, or the owner of the product can access the code. Only he can see the code, not others. But in an open source, if a project is started on open source, it is always open. Anyone who is interested can take the code. They can add the features or remove the features. They can do whatever they want. But even if they do whatever they want, they have to keep the software still as open. Okay. So that's what I mean to say. Even if you add features and rebrand it, still the code has to be open. This is the fundamental rule. Okay. And second thing, free of use. This may or may not be true. So majority of the times, a code is open, a software is open, anyone can use it. But if you're using it for personal use, majority, okay, personal use, it's free, majority of the times. But if you're using it for enterprise purpose, you may have to pay. Okay, so this is based on the open source software that you're using. But just to ensure, this may or may not be true, may or may not be free, that depends. Okay, based on the software that you're using. That is one important point I would like to highlight. Okay, so the code of the software should always be open. Even if you want to add any new features or rebrand it, still the code is open. And when it is a community open source software, majority of the times you have community support, not enterprise support. That means helping each other. Okay, not a company who helps you. This is one important piece I want to tell you. Now, with that context in mind, Linus Torvalds has started a project, open source project called as Linux kernel. Okay, so kernel is a okay. So to be honest, Linux is not just an operating system. Linux is a kernel. What is a kernel? In an operating system, there are multiple layers of operating systems, okay, multiple layers of code. And among that code, there will be one piece of code which directly interacts with the hardware. That piece of code is called kernel. Kernel is the core of any operating system, which is the first layer that you need to develop when you want to develop any operating system. And if I say developing an operating system by a person is very much complicated, and the reason for that is developing a kernel is a very tough job, because you need to develop a project or software or a code that should interact with the hardware directly. So technically, Linux is a kernel. Okay, so Linus Torvald has started a project called as Linux kernel. So keeping the open source context in mind, and his goal is very simple. He want to, okay, he want to develop a software, an OS that should be CLI, that should be CLI, that should be capable of running on any hardware. Okay, so 100% open source. Okay, capable of running any hardware. The statement can also be referred as platform independent. Okay, so these are the 3 points that he kept in mind and started an open source project called as Linux kernel. And he started this project in 1990 or 1985. And Linus Torvalds, what if I say one of the most famous softwares in the entire world, both Git is a version control system, which we are going to use extensively, and Linux, both of them are created and started initiated by a person called as Linus Torvalds. Okay, if there is a huge growth in the software, and if you feel that there are a tremendous amount of software jobs that are in the industry, he is the one behind the invention. Okay, if a college student has a capability to start a company and develop a software and publish it for free, and that the intuition behind that is Linus Torvalds, because of this mindset and because of the platform that he has laid is something which has helped the community to develop this much strong. Okay, so Linux is a platform independent operating system, which is command line operating system. The commands that you use in Linux and Unix are mostly same, but they are not copied. They are completely rewritten. Okay, so what do you mean by capable of running in any hardware? You take a operating system, you can buy either Lenovo computer, or you can also buy HP computer, and you can buy Dell computer, or you can also buy Acer computer. I don't care whatever the hardware you buy, but if you have the software downloaded or Linux operating system, I can run it anywhere. That's it. You don't have any dependency that you're supposed to use only one particular hardware. There is no such dependency. You can use on any hardware of your choice, and you don't have to pay anyone. First thing, okay, if you are using it for your personal use. Okay, so Linux kernel is something which was an open source project. Okay, so these are the things that made him to start developing the project, and that's where all these things have started. Okay, his main intuition, his main idea is he want to create a software which is command line, which should look like Unix, and at the same time it is open to use. Anyone who wants to add features or remove the features, they should, and it should run on any hardware. Okay, these are the things that made Unix a open source software and one of the most popular choice. I'll also tell you why it is so famous. And another important thing I would like to tell is flavor. Okay, in Linux there are 300 plus flavor or distribution or brand. Okay, all three of them are same. Okay, I bought a Nike shoes. Nike is a brand. I bought an Adidas t-shirt. Adidas is a brand. Similarly, Linux is an operating system. Since it is an open source, a lot of people, lot of companies have taken that and they branded it as per their choice and as per the features that they want to add. There are officially 300 plus Flavor is nothing but a brand. There are 300 plus companies who has distributed Linux. Now you will ask me, Manu, so do I need to learn all the 300 plus flavors in Linux? Definitely no. Okay. In interviews, majority of the times they'll ask you questions. What are the flavors of Linux that you're aware? Or what are the distributions of Linux that you're aware? Or what are the versions of Linux that you have used? Okay. Let me try to explain what is a flavor or what is the distribution in Linux. Okay. Let me try to talk about that. Okay. So there are 300 plus flavors. So let me try to show you that. Okay. Linux distribution. Okay. Before that, I'll ask you one product. Okay. This is one important question. If you want to choose a product if you want to choose a product which is available from a lot of brands. Okay. What is the thing that you'll consider first before you choosing the product? Anyone? Anyone? If you want to buy a product, what are the metrics that you look into it?
User friendly.
User friendly.
Brand.
And another thing, user friendly. That means if a user wants something, he should respond back to us very friendlily, and at the same time, it should be easily to operate. Okay. Another thing, anyone?
Brand.
Cost.
Customer support.
That is another thing. Another thing,
Customer support.
customer support. Okay. Another thing,
Brand.
yeah, brand, obviously brand. But when you want to see, you will establish the brand value only based on these factors. A brand will achieve its brand value based on these things, based on the customer support, based on the cost, based on the user friendly. So you select a brand based on these factors. Okay. Another thing. Anyone?
Popularity.
Okay. Why? Okay. Popularity. Okay. That means endorsements. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone?
Yeah,
Okay.
fast and reliable.
Reliability. This is very nice thing. Okay. I'll say one example. The moment I say toothpaste, what is the first brand that you'll get in your mind? If you're from India, toothpaste. What is the first brand that comes in your mind?
Colgate.
I didn't even got another answer. Colgate. Okay. I'll say shoes. What is the first brand that comes into your mind?
Bata.
Okay. If it's in the sports category?
Cricket.
Nike.
Okay.
Nike. And toothpaste, Colgate. Why? Because of the customer support. Let me give you an example. You bought a pair of shoes. Okay. I want to go for running. I want some nice, comfortable shoes. So I went to a Nike showroom and I told them that my shoe size is 9. I want to have a shoes that should be very comfortable. So I'm planning to go for a marathon, and he'll suggest me some nice pair of shoes. I wore the shoes and I feel comfortable, and I paid $50 or $100. I came home and I did some run and I'm not feeling comfortable. My foot and the shoe are not in line and I'm not feeling comfortable. I went to the showroom. Okay. For example, not Nike. I went to one showroom and I returned the shoes and say that I'm not feeling comfortable. The shoes are not good. If you say that, what if the sales representative tells you, sir, I think the shoe is very good. I sold it to a lot of people, but I need to talk to my manager. Leave the shoes. My manager will come tomorrow. Now you'll go the next day and the manager will say, shoes are looking good. We need to send it to the branch office. They need to examine it. And then based on that, they will tell you. So the whole process takes 2 weeks of time. You leave their shoes there and you came back. That is one customer experience. Again, with the same set of shoes, I went to the shop where I went. I said, I'm not feeling comfortable with the shoes. What can be the best that you can do for us? Immediately, if the sales representative says that, okay, sir, so your comfort is very important to us. You go across the showroom, you let us know whatever the shoes you're comfortable. We'll do a replacement of the shoes. Or if the shoes cost less, we're gonna give you back money. Or if you don't like anything, we're gonna return the amount which you have paid in the same time. Which is the best experience, customer experience, and which one is the thing that you'll go for?
Second one is the best. And
exactly. Out of all these points, customer support, UX, user experience, and CX, customer experience, are the 2 factors that creates brand value. When someone wants to adopt any product in enterprise, even if it is little expensive, they always go and select a product which gives the best customer support. In that space, in the Linux world, okay, Linux is available from 300 plus brands. In that space, customer support space, Red Hat, okay, RHCL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux is one of the brand which offers one of the best support in the entire Linux community. But it is little costly, but at the same time, the support offered by the Red Hat Linux Enterprise Linux is so good, so good. If you take 100 companies, 90+% of the companies uses Linux from the community called as Red Hat. Red Hat is also an open source where they are going to charge you for the support they offer. Okay. And this is one reason why almost all the companies prefer to go with Red Hat because of the support. You land into any issue, you dial into the customer support, they give you one of the best support. That's one of the major thing that ensures you have a better experience. Okay, but again, Red Hat Enterprise Linux is very costly solution. Okay, in the Linux, for example, if in your company, if you're having 1000 servers, for example, 1000 Linux servers you have, and paying license and getting support for 1000 servers going to make things very costly. Okay, out of these 1000 servers, 500 will be production servers or customer servers or live servers. 250 servers are production or live servers. And 250 of them are pre-prod, which is nothing but servers which are very much close to what these are. Okay, so whenever you want to do any sort of changes on live customer facing servers, you should not do changes directly on this server. You should have an environment or the server which exactly looks like that. And that's where a different environment called as pre-prod environment will be there. And another environment is QA. Okay, QA servers, where your test engineers or the QA engineers will have high level of access. And the next is development environment, where developers will have access more. Whatever the development that they want to do, they will be doing first on the development servers. And then if things looks good, QA, you will promote it to QA. Okay, so far good. Now, investing Red Hat license for all the 1000 servers is a very costly thing. Now, what they do is, what in majority of the thing, it's a white paper, it's a public thing. Okay, majority of the companies, as per the white paper suggestions, they say they go with Red Hat Linux. And next 250 also they go with Red Hat Linux because they get some nice customer support, which is very important. So whenever you need some help, you need to dial in, they'll help you. Okay, so for QA and they don't use Red Hat. Instead, they use something called as CentOS. CentOS is also the same Red Hat, which is a clone from CentOS. Okay, but you don't get support. Okay, technically, that is 100% clone of Red Hat, but the only difference is you don't get a support. This is how in companies we organize the licensing. Okay, so this is how things are going to be there. Okay, now I'll tell you why you are worried about cost this much, why you are not ready to pay for all the 1000 servers for Red Hat Linux. Let me explain that. Okay, before I jump into the licensing cost, I want to show you how many flavors of Linux are there and how things are going to work. Okay, so technically in Linux there are only two varieties of Linux, I mean majorly. Okay, there are two varieties of Linuxes. One is Debian based. Okay, Debian based Linux. I'll show you with all the images. And another is Red Hat based. Only two varieties. Whatever the operating systems, whatever the Linux that you see, everything is inherited either from one. Let me show you that. Okay, Linux flavors. Go to the images. So this is a very famous image from Red Hat. I mean, from the Wikipedia. Click on this. Now, if you see this, okay, it is Debian or it is from Red Hat, which means Red Hat has initiated this Linux project. And from the Linux, a lot of companies have taken. Okay, so from this, Red Hat Enterprise Linux have cloned it and they rebranded it. And another company called as Oracle Linux, OEL, they have also cloned it and they rebranded it and they started selling it. And similarly, you can also see there is another operating system called as Indian. In there, it is also cloned it. And if you see the CentOS, can you see this here? And the CentOS is also cloned from Red Hat Enterprise Linux only. Okay, so likewise, all the operating systems that you see, which is nothing but the flavors, all of them are somewhere cloned from somewhere and they rebranded it. And that's the reason from flavor to flavor and distribution to distribution, the commands that we use vary. Okay, but if you know one flavor of Linux, using other flavors of Linux is very easy. You gain mastery in one thing and rest of the things are very straightforward thing. So that's the reason, since 90% of the organizations and all the enterprise uses Red Hat, we are going to use both Red Hat and CentOS. In interview, if they ask you what all flavors of Linux that you have used, you just tell them that I have in my organization, we have used Red Hat Enterprise Linux and CentOS. All the production and non-prod missions, we are using Red Hat, and non-prod missions, we are using CentOS. Okay, because of the cost saving. This is how you need to. Okay, this is the diagram. A clear diagram shows you how many flavors are there, how many distributions are there. Okay, from where, which one has taken, who has rebranded it, and all. Okay, this is a very nice diagram which I use it to demonstrate the difference between different flavors and different examples. Okay, now again, we are postponing the same topic, why Windows is so popular and why Linux was also so popular. Let me tell you that. So you want to buy a computer, you placed a computer, you ordered a computer online and you got your computer and you want to use Windows. Now, if you want to use Windows genuine, okay, you need to pay license, agree or not? Agree or not? How much you'll pay for Windows license? This is your personal computer, okay? Your personal computer. How much you'll pay licensing? Anyone? Anyone? Windows. Anyone? How much typically you pay? Anyone? 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 Sorry? Original, okay, not cracked. Anyone? For example, if you want to use Windows, how much you have to pay?
69.
5,000. Okay, you need
more.
to pay 3,000 or 5,000 extra. Okay, you paid 5,000 INR, you got it done. So even if you use 10 years or even if you use 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you don't have to pay anything, right? This is for the personal use. For example, if you join any company, any consulting firm, any big software company, they also use computers, right? If it is an enterprise, the licensing don't work this way. You don't use Windows 10, you need to use Windows Pro, right? The same Windows 10 Professional Edition or Windows Pro, okay, you need to use, and the licensing won't be the same. It might be something extra like 7,500 or 10,000 because this is not for personal use. As per the Windows licensing model, the license for personal use is different and for enterprise use is different. This is for your personal use, and as per the Windows, this is something you're making money out of it. So your licensing model is little different. And here in the personal space, you buy the license once, you can use it a number of years. Till the time your computer is there, you can use it, right? But in enterprise, it's not like that. Once you bought a license, you join a company, they have given you a computer and with Windows operating system. It doesn't mean they bought a license for 7,500 and they can use it for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. No. For every 2 to 3 years once, they need to renew the license. And that's the reason in majority of the companies, they give you computer after 2 years or 3 years, they resell it. That's the reason in Bangalore, you see a lot of companies refabricated computers from corporate. You can see them and you can get them for a less price because since you ran out of the licensing, again, you need to pay licensing for the same computer where the hardware is little old. And that's the reason majority of the companies, they don't re-licensing it and instead they go with a new computer. Okay, but if they want to continue, again, they need to pay some amount to renew the license. Okay, that's how Windows licensing work. And this is at the client edition. If you join a company and if they give you computer, this is how it works. Okay. Again, operating systems are of two types, right? Client-based operating system and Windows and server-based operating system. Okay, you bought a server, fine. Okay, so you want to run some application, and since you want to run an application, you bought a big server from HP. Okay, you bought a hardware from HP. Let's try to talk about it. You bought a nice computer. Okay, no hardware. You bought a hardware or a server. It's a HP hardware. Guys, try to understand the licensing model, because when you want to talk to someone in the interview, when you're applying for senior roles, all these things matter a lot. For example, you bought a hardware. You bought a hardware, and this is from HP. Let's assume this way. HP hardware, which means HP server. Now you want to install Windows Enterprise, Windows Server operating system on the top of it. Windows 2K18 operating system you have installed. Okay. Now, do you know how you pay licensing for it? Anyone? Anyone has fair idea on it? Anyone? Windows licensing is not just based on uh, server, just server. It's based on Windows licensing at server at enterprise level is based on
Number of users.
Number of users and number of CPUs. Okay, it's not like, okay, you have a server with 8 CPUs, the licensing cost will be different. You have a server with 32 CPUs, the licensing will be different. So that's the reason licensing will be based on the size of your company. If yours is a startup, the licensing will be different. If yours is an enterprise company, the licensing will be different. Okay, it's it's very complex, and even though it's complex, a lot of applications are there which runs only on Windows. Okay, this is one thing. If you are having 1000 users, you need to pay license based on the number of users who are using the server. Not just you buy a server and use it a number of users. No, definitely not. Let me show you that. Windows license per server. Okay, you come here, click on this Windows Server 2022. Click on this. Here, what they're saying, if you're using Windows Server Standard, okay, you need to pay $749 with 5 cals. What is cal? And see this Microsoft Windows, same 2022 standard, but if you are using 16 cores of CPU, you need to pay $1,099. Can you see this? So their licensing is based on the number of users and at the same time, number of CPUs. Okay, and if you are using 24 cores or 24 CPUs, you need to pay $2,947. Okay, that's how, for example, if you are having 1000 servers and 10,000 CPU, it will be a very costly thing, right? So this is how Windows licensing work. But Windows also offers one of the best support. But this is how Windows support works. Windows licensing works. But Red Linux, it won't work that way. So Red Hat Linux support models. Okay, so Red Hat Linux subscription. They will use the word called a subscription. Click on this. Okay, so what they are telling. Okay, so if you want to use Red Hat Enterprise Linux, okay, you need to pay $350, but you don't get any support. Okay, but if you're using for a virtual data center, you need to pay $2,500. And if you're just using, you join a company, and if your company, they have given you Red Hat Linux based computer, not Windows. If they give you, they need to pay $179, but they don't get any support. Okay, so if you want support, okay, so for example, Red Hat support models. Let's type this. Let me show you Red Hat services and support. Products, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Click on it. And I'm gonna show you some licensing model. supported architectures, no. Red Hat 24/7 support subscription. If you want support 24/7, you need to pay this much. Okay. If you want to have only weekday support, you need to pay this much. Like that, it will be there. So Red Hat and subscription cost. Sorry about this, I'm not able to find. Yeah. Yeah, can you see this? If you go with enterprise server, you need to pay support based on the support. If you want standard support, that means whenever you're having any issue, you need to raise a ticket and they'll help you over support. And if you go with the standard support, you need to pay $799 per server. It doesn't matter how many CPUs, how many number of users you use. So over the weekends, over the call, they'll give you support. And if you go with premium, round the clock, they support you over call, and even they take you the WebEx. So based on the level of expertise that you have in your company go with these subscriptions. So Windows works in subscription model, and the license is based on the number of users. But Red Hat is based on, or Linux, majority of the Linux flavor support is based on the support model. And that's the major difference between that. And that's one of the reason almost all the open source community, open source tools are developed keeping the Linux community in mind. And that's the reason almost all the cloud tools or DevOps tools that are developed will be developed first on Linux. And that's the reason, if you know Linux, I'm going to teach you 15 plus tools in this training. But in case after 3 months or 6 months, if a new tool comes up in your organization, if you have a Linux knowledge, you can work on it. Okay, now Manu, if the Linux is this much important, how I'm gonna learn Linux? How can I learn Linux? That is another important question. How can I learn Linux? If I want to start my cloud and DevOps journey, Linux is very important. How can I learn Linux? Okay, in this internet world, you can learn Linux very easily and very straight, but we are gonna take only the production grade approaches. No basic things. Okay, so first thing, you can learn Linux if you're having a Linux laptop. All right, if you're having a Linux laptop, you can. Okay, or you can install a software called as Oracle Box on your computer. And install Linux on it. That is one way. That is another way. Okay, next thing, you can have some sandbox or some test environment called as Killer Coda or Katacoda, some online Linux terminals you can practice. Or since the training is majorly on cloud, okay, what if if I create a live server on cloud? Create a Linux server on AWS cloud and let's learn Linux on it. So among all, which one is a feasible option? If you ask me, I don't
Creating
want
a
to use any of these three options. Instead, I want to go with this option, creating a server on the top of AWS cloud, and we are going to learn Linux on the top of it. Okay, now, if you want to learn Linux, you can use AWS cloud, and on the top of AWS cloud, we can create a server and we can use it. But I don't have an AWS cloud, and do I need to pay AWS cloud if I use any Linux server? Definitely no. So the best thing with AWS cloud, AWS offer a free account. If you follow the tips that I'm going to teach you, you end up paying less than 100 to 200 rupees per month. We're going to use almost all the best possible services. Okay, so AWS offers you a free account for 1 year. And within this 1 year, you can almost use all the services offered in AWS for free. Okay, you can use, but Again, I'm telling there are certain terms and conditions. You need to follow the terms and conditions that we are going to talk in detail. If you follow them, you get most of them for free. Okay. All right. So we are going to start adopting the terminology. Okay. Majority of the services are free. Okay. And I want every one of you. So let's start. Let's adopt it. Let's adopt the cloud terminology. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, whatever the new words that I'm going to use, I would like to give a detailed explanation before we use it. Okay, so if you want to create an AWS account, go to the internet. All you need to say is, I want to have an AWS account. Just type AWS account and click this, the first link. Now here, AWS free tier. So gain free hands-on experience with AWS platform, products and services free. So how can you get, what do we get? So if you create an account on AWS, which I'm going to show you very soon, you can enjoy almost all the services for free as a part of the free tier plan. And first 1 year, almost all the services are free. And your account that you're going to create is always free. After 1 year, you need to pay for whatever you have used. Okay. Now, there are some limitations, as I mentioned, right? If you're using a server, you can run a server for 750 hours continuously per month without paying anyone. Okay, for example, so per day, 24 hours, right? 24 into 72, 1728. Okay, so for example, 24 into, why I'm 72? 24 into 30. Okay, so per day, per month, 720 hours. Amazon is offering you 750 hours, which means even if you use one server around the month, it's obviously free. But I'm going to tell you, we are going to use a project that is going to have 12 servers. You're going to end up all the free tier limits, but I'll ensure you're going to pay less than 100 to 150 rupees. Okay, almost all the services, they're going to tell you certain limits. If you use these limits and if you follow certain strategy, almost you can enjoy everything for free. Okay, now how can you create an AWS account? If you want to have an AWS account, what you need to have, how to create an AWS account? How to create an AWS account? How to create an AWS account? If you want to create an AWS account, all you need to have is valid Gmail address, valid credit card is preferred, or debit card. If you have both of them in less than 24 hours, if you have both of them, you will have your AWS account ready. And I want to teach everything to you on the top of the cloud from the day one itself. And that's the reason I want every one of you to create your AWS account. I'll tell you how to create an AWS account. We have created a small document. Okay, how to create an AWS account. All you need to do is you go to the internet and you need to say that I want to have an AWS account. Let me show you that. AWS account. Okay, click on this. I'm not going to create an account because with my credit card and debit card, I already have an account. And so all you need to do is you need to say AWS create account. Just say Google. Okay, AWS console. Just say AWS account. Click the get a free tier account. Click on it. Okay, and you need to come here and say I would like to create a free account. Click on this. And you need to enter your name and this one. For example, I want to say agent DevOps training batch 55@gmail.com. And I want to say DevOps batch 55. Okay. Now you need to verify the email address. Now, the moment you click this, you will get a one-time password to the Gmail address that you have given. Now, let me show you how it works. Okay. So the moment you give your username, which is nothing but the Gmail address that you're going to create, and give a name, the moment you say verify email address, okay, you'll get a one-time password to your Gmail. You need to enter the Gmail here. Okay, and once you enter the Gmail address, it asks you please configure a password for your account. Okay, please ensure you give a good password. Please do not share your password with others. If you start sharing your password with others, others will abuse your account. Okay, others are going to use your account and you are going to waste your free tier limits. And please don't share. Create your account, because you are going to give your credit card and debit card details. And if you share your username and password, and you are responsible for it. Okay, so a lot of people will share the password for AWS account as a part of their learning. I strictly say do not share your password. Okay, create, configure the password. Now it asks you, okay, what it's going to ask you is, it's going to ask you enter whether you want to create this account for business purpose or you want to create it for personal purpose. Please ensure you select the personal purpose, and then you need to enter your full name. If you are from India, give +91 and enter your mobile number. If you are from states, give +1 and give your phone number. And then you need to choose your country. You need to give your address, home address, and you need to give where you're staying along with the pin code and click on continue. Now, the moment you click on continue, okay, it asks you to enter your debit card or credit card information. This is to ensure you don't abuse AWS resources. Okay, they want to check whether the account is created by the human user or a robot. Obviously, robots don't have a username and password or a debit card and a password, right? So they want to ensure that the account is created by the human user. So please ensure you enter your valid credit card. My preference is giving credit card. If you give your credit card, Amazon will deduct you 2 rupees from your account. So within less than 15 minutes, your account will be activated if you use credit card. But if you use debit card, it takes 1 to 2 hours of time. A maximum of 24 hours it will take. Okay, if you use a debit card. But if you use a credit card, less than 15 minutes, your account will be activated. You need to use your debit card, give your expiry, give the name of the card holder, give the CVV, and then you need to give your username. And if you're creating this account from India, it will ask you, do you have a PAN card? If you have a PAN card, say yes. If you don't have a PAN card, say no. But I prefer to go with give no. Okay, and then verify and continue. And the moment you click verify, if you are accessing the credit card from India, you'll get OTP to your mobile. You need to give the mobile. It is 100% safe. Amazon is known for one of the best safety standards that they follow with respect to data compliance. You can trust and give the OTP. Amazon is going to detect 2 rupees from your bank credit card or the debit card to verify whether it is a valid active human account or not. And then after they detect the amount, within less than 10 minutes, you'll get your 2 rupees back, which means you're getting the account 100% free. Now, at the bottom, you have something called as choose the plan. As I said, it all starts with support. Okay, it all starts with support. So which type of support you want? That means whenever you are having any technical issues, what kind of support you want? In your case, you go with free support because I am there to help you. If I am not there, you need to go with business support or developer support, where you need to pay Amazon $29 or $100 per month, where they are going to offer you for support. In your case, I am there to help you guys. Click on basic support. That means you'll get an option to reach Amazon for account related and billing related questions only, not technical related questions. For technical related questions, you need to have a developer plan or business plan. In enterprise organizations, in companies where you are going to work, they are going to have a business plan. Whenever you're having any challenges with any product or any issue, you are going to raise a support ticket to them where they are going to help you. That is a difference. And tomorrow, I'm also going to show you how to create a customer support ticket with Amazon. Okay, in our case, we are going to click on basic support and complete the setup. The moment you click the complete the setup, you'll get an email telling that congratulations, thank you for signing up. This is the congratulations message that you'll get. And you'll also get an email telling that, okay, thank you for registering your account and you're going to enjoy your account for the next 12 months and your account will be activated. And once your account is activated, that's it. You're good. Now, if you want to access your AWS account, okay, once you get this email, all you need to type is just type AWS. Okay, click on the first link or any link. And I want you to guys to check whether you're able to access the account or not. On the top right, we have an option called as sign in. Okay, please click on the sign in button. Okay, now it asks you enter your username, which is nothing but your password. Okay, click on sign in. Now it asks you enter the username. Now in my case, trainer.manuverma.6 am is the Gmail account, which is nothing but the account that I have. I'll click on it and I'll enter the password. My password is already saved. Let me enter it. Now the moment you click it, you should be able to see things this way. Okay, if you are able to sign in, that means we are good and you have your valid account ready. Okay, so that is what I want. So I want every one of you to create an account and be ready. So the assignment for you guys for tomorrow is I want every one of you to create an account and be ready so that you can start creating the servers from tomorrow. Assignment for you guys. Okay, so I want every one of you to create an AWS account and get that activated and ensure you're able to sign in. Okay, so these are the two things. And another thing, a lot of people are asking me, what type of computer do I need? Do I need Mac? Do I need Linux? Or do I need Windows? So what is the needed computer for this training? And what is the configuration needed? This is one of the most common questions that I got. Let me answer that. Okay. I'm okay with any computer, either Linux or Windows computer or MacBook. Anything is fine. And configuration, a lot of people who are very much interested to learn the training, they are ready to pay 50,000, 60,000 for good computers. I don't expect to have very high configuration. Any computer which is basic, okay, any computer with i5 processor is more than enough. Is enough. Is more than enough, guys. Okay. And all I expect is, okay, all I expect is you should be comfortable with the computer that you're working. Okay. So the thumb rule is any computer which is working and where you are comfortable. You don't have to buy a new computer. You don't have to, whatever the computer that you have, that's more than enough. And please ensure that is in a working condition and it is not slow, because you are going to practice rigorously for the 3 months along with me. So you should have some good working computer, but doesn't mean that please do not buy a computer just for the training. I'm okay with any computer as long as the computer is working and it is in a state where you are comfortable. That's it. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to explain what are all the softwares that are needed. It's going to be very basic and straightforward. And what are the softwares that are needed? Okay, we are going to use softwares that are even accepted in majority of the corporate companies. Okay, so I'll tell you, I'll explain you all these software installations tomorrow, but just to give you a glance, we need Putty or Excel. Okay, if you're a Mac or Windows, you don't have to do anything. Okay, and VS Code. These are the only two softwares that I need, and these are one of the most widely used enterprise softwares as well. So even if you have a corporate laptop, that's 100% fine. So please ensure you follow the organization standards. Okay, so that's it, and that's for today. And if you have any questions, you can post me and I'm good. And just one more thing, meeting link remains the same. Okay, meeting link remains the same. And every one of you today, you guys will receive, okay, a link like this. Okay, so where all the information will be enclosed here. So going forward, whatever the videos that we are going to publish, you can see all of them inside the playlist. You don't have to wait for the videos that I publish. Okay, I'm gonna send you the list where you can see all the videos together here. You don't have to wait on me. Okay, that is first thing. And the board that I'm using, the Miro board, is also public. You can copy and use it. You can see all the boards that I'm doing. It's a public board. That is another thing. And whatever the content that we are going to publish, we are going to publish here. And the AWS account creation procedure is also enclosed here. You just copy paste it. You can see the AWS account creation procedure document here. Okay, that's it. And whatever the information we are going to publish here, so it will be a single point, and this link will be published with you guys. Okay, all I expect from you guys is create an account on AWS. If you're having challenges, please reach me out, or you can also click the link here. And today after the session, you will receive this link as well. And that's for today. And I repeat one more time. So meeting link remains the same, and the batch timings remains the same. The batch timings are Monday to Saturday, morning 7:30 to 9 o'clock India time. And the meeting link remains the same. Okay, so the meeting link remains the same till further notice. Okay, so meeting link remains same, and that's it. You're gonna receive the session recording in less than 1 hour. And that's for today, guys. I'm good, and I'm ready to take up the questions. Any questions, anyone? And let's answer Vishal's question first. Vishal, go ahead. What's your question?
Thank you so much. So the question was like, say, specifically to the Amazon role. So I see like there is like AWS cloud support under
1 minute,
Windows.
guys. 1 minute. So in the interest of session recording, let's try to stop the session recording, and I'm gonna take all your questions. Okay, keeping the recording length in mind. Let me try to pause the session recording, and I'm going to take up the questions. So before we wrap, session timings remains the same, Monday to Saturday, morning 7:30 to 9 o'clock. Let's meet tomorrow, and the meeting link remains the same. Okay, and you'll get the session recording in less than 1 hour. And that's for today. And I'm ready to take up your questions. Please post your questions, guys. Yeah, Vishal, go ahead.